Well done, boys. Training's up. Please get into a circle, gather together and do the stretching. This will make your body feel better and feel less sore. Yeah, and then I used to stand in that circle and yeah, I would stretch like this a little bit, like this, 15-second hold, 15-second hold, talking with the teammates a little bit. Yeah, even playing with the ball because, man, what is stretching even gonna get me, right? And then the next day, I would wonder why I feel like a rusty machine, like, oh, that couldn't really move. And then I got into these stretching routines, the 30-minute stretching routines you do every day, but they don't actually make a real change. They make you feel good for the moment, but then after a few hours, the next day, you feel locked up again. And who the fuck even wants to do like a stretching routine for 30 minutes or even more, right? And the reason I'm telling you this is because I'd love for you to not waste your time anymore feeling like a Rossi machine, countless hours of stretching that don't really help. But instead that you feel good in your body, have joints that let you move like you want to move, be able to do things like this or this or this. Do things, move like you want to move, like be free in your body. That's my goal. So here is the 7-step routine. For you, you can start right now. There are regressions, progressions, and I'm telling you, if you master these exercises, you will transform your body for the better, feeling better in your joints, feeling better in your tissue overall. Beginning with the plantar fascia stretch. This is probably for most more challenging than it actually looks because you're really stretching out that plantar fascia, the big toe that is constantly just jammed into these tight boots. So don't get surprised if it gets really, really intense, but it has to be in a good way, not painful. Really relax into this. You have to be able to sit comfortably. Over time, the goal is 2 to 3 minutes. But if it's too intense right now, just do 1 minute at a time, take a break, and do another minute. But just to make it less intense, don't sit fully on your heels. Lean forward a little bit. This will make it less intense. The next move is to sit in a deep squat like this. This brings you back to the basics. Because back in the days, we used to sit in those deep squat positions for hours a day. My grandfather in Senegal, he's 90 years old, and he sits in these deep squat positions for hours daily, on a daily basis. And guess what? His knees preserve the ability to fully bend and be fluid and be really smooth and not feel rusty. So by doing this for 3 minutes in this routine, holding this position, if it's too difficult, hold onto something in front of you to keep you in that position, and make sure to push your feet into the ground so your tips contract here and help you to stay in this position, prevent you from falling backwards. Next, we have yet another basic that we should be able to use as a normal resting position. This again is a good indicator of knee longevity, but it also stretches out the front of your lower leg and your ankles. And getting into this position is like really a natural way to heal your lower body, to realign your lower body. And as always, it should be comfortable, not painful at all, to hold this position for 2 to 3 minutes. But again, the lowest entrance point is to elevate your hips as much as you need and also leaning forward. Next, we have an ATG split squat hold for 1 minute on each side. This will be a challenging one, so if it's too challenging, split it up in 2 sets of 30 seconds. What it does is pretty obvious. It opens up your hips, really stretching and strengthening that hip flexor of the back leg, and also targeting your quads, strengthening your quads, opening up that groin while strengthening all of that at the same time. And simultaneously, it's also working your ankle mobility as you try to push your knee over your toe as far as possible while keeping your heel on the floor. Try to always keep an upright posture, torso upright, back leg straight, and hamstrings fully covering your calves. The regression to this one would be to elevate your front foot as far as you need for it to be comfortable and pain-free, and also using assistance can help too. Next, we have the Jefferson curl with your toes elevated. you can see this really targets your hamstrings in a long range of motion. You can imagine a rubber band being pulled from both ends. And by having your toes elevated, you can really dig into that calf, open that up, open the backside of your knee up. And the key is to always keep your tips contracted, so you push your feet into the ground, also keeping your quads contracted. That makes sure your knees are locked out all the time, and we can really progress with measurable tension on your hamstrings there. And then from here, the movement doesn't stop. We curl up again with a rounded spine, so you can really open up that stiff spine you were told not to round. The lowest entrance point would be to choose an elevation where you can put your hands onto and then comfortably extend and squeeze your quads, extend your knees, and then over time you want to be able to go further down as you progress and get comfortable with rounding the spine and being in that extended knee position. Then over time with both knees, and then you can really get into that motion of the Jefferson curl. Next, we move to your upper body, and there are two moves I want to show you here. The first one, you have to get to a wall, spread your legs apart as far as you can, and then from here, just bend from side to side, really getting into that stretch. And the higher you put your arms, the bigger the stretch is going to be. So the ultimate level would be to straighten your arms above your head and then get into that lateral stretch. You're working your QL muscle here. That is a muscle that connects your lumbar spine to your pelvis and is responsible to keep it in place, but is also responsible for like lateral movements, rotational movements. So it's really probable that you have one side tighter than the other. So the goal would be to perform 15 reps for each side, but if you feel like it, you can stay a little bit longer on your tighter side so you can rebalance your QL strength and length from side to side. This last and final move will take care of the rest of your upper body. The cross bench pullover will stretch out your shoulders, your lats, open up that chest, strengthen all of that in those ranges, opening up the thoracic spine, the abs by lowering the hips, and then coming back up. The way it really pulls you into this position, so the tissues are forced to adapt, and it's not just a passive little stretch. So this is really an all-in-one exercise I believe every athlete needs to be doing, and there is no excuse, because there are other options available for people who don't have equipment. Something like a wall pullover will also get the job done for you when you really push yourself on these exercises. Really try to get your chest to the floor, keeping your shoulders up, and really feel the stretch in your shoulders and that pressure in the thoracic spine, the mid back, and then pull back up. Get down into that position. Really think consciously about the stretch. Try to pull down the wall, and this will really get you a nice stretch as well. The lowest entrance point to get to a cross bench pullover is to actually lay in line with a bench, get on an incline even, then push the weight overhead and perform the same movement here, and only go as far as you can, as you feel comfortable and strong enough. And then over time, you can lower the incline until you get to a flat bench, lay in line with the flat bench, and then from there, you can progress to the cross bench pullover. That is the full routine, guys. I hope this helps. But if you now think you want to know more, you want to take this more seriously to be able to perform better, make your body feel really good again, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram or book in a free call with me and we'll discuss your situation. Both links to that are in my video description. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and share this video with someone, with your teammate that is probably also a rusty machine, but could do better, right? Stay locked in, especially if you don't feel like it. Peace.